If I were a rich white racist that hated black people, this is what I would do. I would handpick young black boys, mostly from single mother households who want to be rappers, and pay them millions of dollars to make music geared to destroying the black communities. I would make young black women become dependent on government assistance, but only if there's no father in the home. I would dump drugs into poor black communities, incentivize them to sell it and use it to cope with their problems, then put them in prison. I would turn black women against black men, making them disrespect them and hate them. I will use black celebrities, daytime TV, magazines, and the media to help push this.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all for joining me here today. Today, I've got some more people off the Democrat plantation. Woo! Free at last. Thank God Almighty, they are free at last. We are free at last. But before we get back into it, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you click that notification bell and really because like causes the YouTube algorithm to really push out my videos and watch the video to the end. Now let's get into it.
If I were a rich white racist that hated black people, this is what I would do. I would handpick young black boys, mostly from single mother households who want to be rappers, and pay them millions of dollars to make music geared to destroying the black communities. I would make young black women become dependent on government assistance, but only if there's no father in the home. I would dump drugs into poor black communities, incentivize them to sell it and use it to cope with their problems, then put them in prison. I would turn black women against black men, making them disrespect them and hate them. I will use black celebrities, daytime TV, magazines, and the media to help push this. I will then poison their food and make it cheap so that poor blacks can afford to buy it, which will slowly kill them off. Then I'll implement liberal politicians and celebrities. They'll sell them truthful sounding lies. They'll pretend to relate to them. They'll make them think that Republicans are only for the rich and we're for the poor. Even though we live in big houses and safe neighborhoods far away from you poor blacks. And for my final trick, I'll cut them off at the source. I'll stop them from reproducing. I'll make abortion their get out of jail free card. I won't even have to kill black people. I'll just stop them from ever being born. And I'll make sure black women have abortions at a much higher rate than white women. They'll never suspect a thing because we'll make up some catchy slogan, something like, my body, my choice. Yeah, that'll get them. We'll keep them broke, emotional, childless, and fatherless. And the best part is they'll still vote for us.
Oh, if that ain't, don't he look, that laugh at the end had me, what? Does this not describe the Democrats? Oh my gosh, that's the Democrat Party. Of course it's the Democrats, because he even said it. Well, black people, what are we going to do? All right, because he hit it so hard. I've never seen anything that good, actually. I've never seen anything that good. Because remember, Satan is very slick. He's not going to come like Satan. Even when the Democrats name their policies, they make it sound good and they get black people emotional, and they project their evil off onto the Republicans, saying they're the racist ones, when it's really the Democrats. It really is. Make music geared towards destroying us. Make music, remember, and pay them a lot of money. And these young boys that become rappers, they don't live very long. They always die. Remember Tupac and Biggie? They'll die before they get to 30 years old for a short time of balling and then dead in the grave. Yeah, a young corpse, not doing anybody any good. Didn't stay here but a hot second. Now, let me just tell you now, he spoke some truth, but people, and the part at the end where he said they'll still vote for us. That is insane. They dump drugs into the neighborhoods, put abortion clinics, make you get rid of yourself. We don't have to worry about getting rid of you because we'll make it so you're not even born. And you got black on black crime that's been a problem. But the random case that's very rare, by the way, but the media plays it up. Not that it's not wrong. I'm not saying that, but it happens very rare. Is when a white police officer, and I've brought it up many times on this channel, will unalive an unarmed black person. And then the media plays it and pushes it and pushes it and pushes it. And even when I didn't like Trump, when I was in my TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, I noticed that. And I spoke about it to someone that I worship with. And they were like, you see what's happening? I said, yes, because it happens where the officer and the victim are both white or both black, or when the officer is black. and the victim is white. But they only show it when the officer is white and the victim is an unarmed black person. Mistakes happen. The police officer who acted wrongly should be dealt with properly. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, you got some folks that they're not doing what they're supposed to do anyway. And you got to call the police officer out before they even come. So something was going on. But with the case of the lady with the pot of water, he shouldn't have been a police officer. Let's just keep it 100. He need to go somewhere, jail, whatever. But I don't know the whole story because we never are allowed to always fully know. But it looked like he just had issues and shouldn't have been a police officer. So and that's another thing, defunding the police got them desperate that they'll get somebody like that. So everything the Democrats do messes everything up. He said, put drugs in the neighborhood and the food. The food is cheap. And then you make somebody like dependent upon the government. And black people don't live as long as white people. Or Asians. We don't live as long. We just go on and die. You know, I'm not old, and people that I graduated high school with already gone. Some of them, not all of them, of course, but some of them. So it's just insane. And these are the people that we vote for because we've been told we've been emotionalized and dealt with through the media. Democrats control the media, even the news media, the music and everything. So that's them, the prince of the air. Where Satan uses the Democrat Party. He does. That's who he uses. The Satan lays his head at the DNC and go, "Ooh, this is a nice happy place." Just getting rid of children, sacrificing the kids, all the things coming across the border that are horrific when it comes to children. More than 300,000 missing. They don't know where they are. They've been they're in certain lifestyles being pushed off amongst crazy people. Yeah. That's just what happened. I'm trying to keep it a certain way so I can stay on the channel. But you all know, and this is what is happening. And I'm going to show you another clip.
So Donald Trump is the very first Republican who I have ever voted for in my life. I voted for him for the first time in 2020. Before that, I voted Barack Obama twice, and I voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. And the only reason I voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016 was because I believed that Donald Trump was a racist, and I also thought that the majority of Republicans and the people who were voting for him were also racist. Then in 2016 hit and he won. I was so disappointed. I told my sister, I cannot believe that the country that just elected our first black president turned around and elected this man. Then my sister told me, just because people have voted for Donald Trump does not mean that they are racist. I told her, yes, it does. It absolutely means they're racist because that's what I thought. Then I saw him as president, and I thought that he was a good leader. I think he did a good job, aside from all his mean tweets. So in 2020, I voted for him. And in 2020, I was literally undecided until that third debate with Donald Trump and Joe Biden. I saw Joe Biden get on stage, talk about all the wonderful things that he was going to do should he take office. Then Donald Trump said the same thing to him that we saw him say to Kamala Harris. If you were going to do those things, why haven't you done them? And in Joe Biden's case, he had been Barack Obama's VP for 8 years. And in addition to that, he had also been a senator. So around that time, he had about 40 years in office under his belt. And when Donald Trump asked him that question, that struck out to me that why didn't you do all these things in 40 years? Then Joe Biden answered that question with an excuse and said the reason he didn't do it was because of the Republicans in Congress. Said also because he was the vice president. And I was thinking, so the Republicans in Congress stopped you from doing all this in 40 years? You couldn't get any of this done in 40 years? That struck out to me. And that made me vote for Donald Trump in 2020. And I remember when I was actually on my way to vote for Donald Trump, my husband and I were in the car riding together. We started talking about the election and who we're voting for. He was voting for Biden. I told him I was voting for Donald Trump. He immediately turned the car around and drove back home, would not take me to the poll to vote for Donald Trump. So we went back home and I returned to the poll later to vote for Donald Trump. Then we all lived under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in office. My husband got to see firsthand the incompetence of this administration. And now not only am I a Trump supporter, he is too. And I've also learned one thing about Donald Trump supporters and Republicans in general. See, it used to be, I thought they were intolerant. I thought they were the ones who were racist and closed-minded. But it turns out it was the other way around. Because when I was in 2016 voting for Hillary Clinton, I was working in a small office then. The majority of the people I was working with were Republican. They had no problem with me saying that I was supporting Hillary Clinton. They had absolutely no problem with it. Not one of those people tried to change my mind. Not one of those people treated me any differently because I thought differently than them. But the minute you turn away from that and say, you know what? I don't agree with that anymore. I don't agree with what the Democratic Party is doing anymore. I don't stand for that anymore. The minute you do that, the Democrats have a problem with it, but they're the ones preaching tolerance. They're the ones preaching acceptance. They're the ones talking about the hatred on the other side, when really the hatred is on their side.
Another one spewing facts. Ooh, these people are good. They gooder than chicken. Y'all tell Devin Gibson to check me out. I'm sorry, Devin, I had to get that one. Gooder than chicken. But, ooh, and that first guy, she was spot on as well. So, and I noticed that too, that with Democrats, the politicians and the people who vote that way, they get so angry at conservatives, especially conservative Black people. That's why a lot of conservatives who are Black be like, hey, I'm voting for Donald Trump. Don't tell nobody. you know what I'm saying? Or they just won't say anything. They'll go along. Yeah, he just awful. He just a racist, and then go and vote for him. But I'm vocal. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm doing, because why should I be quiet when everybody else is being loud? I'm not playing that game. I'm not sneaking around. You can't tell me to hush. You hush. I mean, I'm not hushing. Okay. Because not y'all hush. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to the Democrat people that like to get mad. But, and then, like she said, no one had a problem with her when she was voting for Hillary. And I can't stand Hillary Clinton. I ain't even like her when I voted for her. I really didn't. I just don't like her. But they demonized Donald Trump so bad, I felt like I had to vote for somebody. So I voted for her. But I don't like that woman. I ain't even like her then. I told someone in my family, I said, I'm not really with her, but I can't vote for him. So, it's just like, what do I do? The lesser of two evils sort of thing. But he was really the lesser of two evils. It was just my mindset at the time. But God showed me last year, the earlier part of last year, that these hoaxes and these trumped up things they got against him using lawfare is just really not real. And he's just being unjustifiably persecuted. And it is because they want to stay in power and suppress us and all of that. But y'all, this is amazing that people are off the demo, getting off this horrific plantation. Well, it's a plantation, because what happened to the slaves when they tried to leave? If they caught the slave leaving off the plantation, they would beat them within an inch of their life, and they had to return. And they made sure they let the beating be seen by the other slaves. And that's what happens when you leave the Democrat plantation as a voter. That's what happens, because people beat you up, and they're harder on the Black folks. And remember, we were the slaves. They're harder on us. They real hard on us. They're just like, you a sellout, you a this, and they're the ones that are sellouts. Roland Martin and Al Sharpton and Oprah, all those folks are sellouts. Steph Curry now, and maybe LeBron too, and all these people. They say what they gotta say. Magic Johnson, I did a video. Check that video out. That one's caught some steam. All these people are sellouts. They're not really. They are hurting Black people. They just the one doing a little minstrel show, playing a little dance, song and dance, acting stupid for the racist libs. Yeah, that's what they're doing. And then the conservative Christian white people who just love us, we don't want to listen to them. I do. I'll listen to you. Thank you. Pray for us all. Thank you all. Everybody pray for everybody, okay? Because this is ridiculous. I'm so glad. I am so glad. And we finally wait till Jesus about to return before we finally get off the Democrat plantation. Well, I guess it's better late than never. Thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, the United States of America. And as I always say, march on, warriors.